I'm logging on right now as we speak.
This is lrodtv.com.
Elrod TV Network. If you just go to YouTube and just put Elrod TV
Wow.
Network,
All right.
TV Network. All right, got rid
Then
of
just
that.
share that.
Yep, just share. In fact, it should be popping up any second if it's not already there. There we go. If you refresh the screen, it shows up.
Okay.
So it's right there. Let me know when you're ready, and I'll do the countdown so we can start.
Okay, give me 1 second. Thursday topics next, and then I'm going to hit live post. All right, I'm ready.
Ready? All right, I'm going to go ahead and do the countdown and we can start.
All right.
In five, four, three, two, one. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Thirsty Topics. How's it going, Wander?
Hey, everything is groovy gravy. I can't complain. But you know what? If I did complain, ain't nobody gonna listen no way. But overall, just a blessed day, man. No matter what, I'm blessed. And yourself,
Amen.
what about you?
I am blessed as well. A lot of crazy enough stuff been happening this week.
Oh yeah.
Before I start, for a lot of people who are in the Midwest, especially Chicagoland area, just want to give my condolences to the Leak family.
Yes.
Spencer Leak Jr. has passed away. He's actually my age, which is kind of scary.
Oh
It was
wow.
very sudden, but I definitely want to give my condolences before we start.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. And likewise, because I know a lot of people that knew of him, and it was just kind of weird because he just buried Jesse Jackson,
Mhm.
and all the things that went along with that. And then in mid 50s, man, 50s are the new 40s, right? So it
Exactly.
was definitely sudden. So yeah, my condolences to the family and to everybody that's connected to him and the Leak family, yeah, because they are
Yes.
a pillar in the community.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And unfortunately, another passing this week. Um, Peebo Bryson has passed away.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if a lot of young people know who he is, but older people that have followed music for a while knows Peebo for all the soulful music that he's created. He's also
Yes.
created some Disney ballads as well, and he's definitely an R&B legend.
Yeah.
Real quick overview: Peebo Bryson, through smooth tone and operatic control, produced classic Disney hits as well as R&B standards, has died according to a statement from his family. He was 75. The statement said that he died Tuesday evening, surrounded by the love of his family and those closest to him. Bryson is best known for contributing his talents to the Oscar winning Disney duets Beauty and the Beast, sung aside Celine Dion, and A Whole New World, sung with Regina Bell for the animated film Aladdin. He's created some great hits. I mean, just kind of touching on a few of them. I'm So Into You, Feel the Fire. And then he did a duet with Robert Flack.
Yes.
Tonight I Celebrate My Love. I would
Yes.
probably say if I had to pick one, I would say Feel the Fire, probably. It's hard to choose because all of them were great. Which one did you like?
Man, all of them. I was just telling someone as we were talking about people, Bryson. I got goosebumps, man, just thinking about him. And if you remember, he actually came from Shalimar. Remember, he was
Mhm.
with the group Shalimar. And yeah, there's nothing. he's one of those type of persons, that can sing, and he can sing the Bible. He can sing anything. He just had that it factor,
Mhm.
you know. And so I don't know if I could even choose pick a song because I had so many favorites from him. I do him a disservice to just pick a song. But yeah, but I have to say that was one of my favorites. But there was just so many. Like I say, it's going back to Shalimar days. It's going back to his days, yeah. And it's just sad, that we woke up to that news this week.
Yeah, that's true. I know that earlier reports stated that he had a stroke and then I want to say a day or two later, that's when they announced that he passed away. So
Yeah,
it must have been a very severe event that happened to him.
yeah,
He's definitely going to be missed.
yeah,
A lot of artists do sample artists that's been around for a while. So
yeah.
I think that his music is definitely going to live for a long time after this.
Right. And, talking about people, it reminds us that the talent consistently and professionalism still matters. Because guess what? We just talked about that. He's got music from that's going to last forever.
Hmm.
Weddings, love song, baby making songs, oh my God, just so many different songs, and he left a legacy because he was so talented. He helped so many people. We
Yes.
talked about that, and one of the things that people made unique was his ability to elevate everyone he sang with. You just talk about Roberta Flack, Regina Bell. Was that tonight? I celebrate my love for you. I ain't gonna mess it up, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Celine Dion. I didn't
Hmm.
even realize he had done a song with her. Of course, we talk about Roberta Flack, and it's just amazing of the people that he connected with, man. And it was like magic. It was like magic.
Do you think that his unfortunate passing will kind of maybe revive some of those songs and you'll start hearing them a little bit, at least
Oh
for the time?
yeah, and that's the thing. I say his legacy will live on, and that's another thing, Lawrence. We have to all just think about what are we leaving for people to remember us by? What is our own legacies? He
Mhm.
left a legacy. He left a legacy. And it certainly will remind us, man, it'd be sad. We're a little sad. But to also just remember, man, if he can do it, we can do it. There's some things that we can also find ourselves doing that he did to let us know that whatever we did on yesteryear, guess what? It's going to be forever. Because even though it's not on vinyl anymore, they went from the cassette to the cassette tapes to the with the 8 track to the cassette to the CDs to the MP players. So it'll be around forever. What he
That's
did.
true.
Yeah, and it's just sad. Just even what happened to him was it? It was a stroke, correct? Allegedly, it was a stroke that he had. So
Hmm.
you just even think about health. Because 76 was it? How old was he?
75.
75. That's not old.
No, no, it's not at all. And the one thing that I hope is that we start seeing more R&B songs come out.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. I like rap and hip hop, but I kind of like a variety of different stuff. I don't
Right.
want to
Right.
listen to that all day and all. Well,
Right. That's
a
true.
lot of times, in order to get some good soulful R&B, you have to look at the classics because a lot of people aren't making that anymore. I guess
Yeah.
it's not the flavor of the day, but hopefully, maybe some people start making some more R&B hits.
Yeah. And it's and for the people who don't know him, it's just like I remember going. I was living in Nashville at the time, and I knew Mr. Winfrey, Oprah's dad, and I finally got to get on Oprah's show twice through him. And I lived in Chicago all my life, right?
Mhm.
So the second show that I attended, the guy said they'll come out and tell you, well, our guest today is if you never heard of him, you've been up under a rock. And then they went James Taylor. I'm like, I said, who is James Taylor? I had never heard of James Taylor. Well, on our way back to Nashville, of course, That's all I heard was James Taylor songs, you know. So for anyone that didn't know people Bryson, man, you get to know him. Or they'll be like me, oh, that dude made that song. Oh, he made that song. Oh, okay. You know. So yeah. So it's sad, and the tributes are definitely going out for him. Yeah.
Well, I hope a lot of people do look him
Oh,
up
not
and listen
again.
to his songs and everything. So,
Oh, not again.
well, we still hear you, so we'll keep moving
We
until you
go.
until the video catches up. All right, we'll take a slight pause so Wanda could come back on.
Now I can't blame the devil for everything. The devil. It's just this internet, and I guess in my office here is just a little rough. But anyway, about people, just
Yeah, what I was saying earlier is that I really hope that a lot of young people take the time to get to know who he is by listening to his music.
yeah,
And, for the artists out there, maybe even do a cover of his song or maybe
yeah.
incorporate his style into what you're doing because he definitely has some great, great tunes and has been very successful, especially being able to create music for not only major record labels, but also for the TV, for animated shows.
You know what? When I remembered him, I remember back in 1985, and I went to Detroit, Michigan, with a friend to his family reunion.
Mhm.
And I went there to kind of clear my head. I was like, I just, I was thinking real crazy, but the Lord was talking with me, dealing with me. And lo and behold, my friend's cousin was a background singer for Peabo Bryson.
Oh, wow.
And she sparked my interest, man. And God just knows where to place you. Because, like I said, I was young, kind of going through some things in my mind. Like, I'm coming back to Chicago and I'm not going to be, I'm tired of people treating me this way. And it was a relaxing road trip from Chicago to Detroit. And when his cousin, she told me about the entertainment field because I was singing with groups trying to find my way at that time. Because I thought I could sing a little bit, so I was with a group. So all those type of things. So it was really, really right on time to see I can touch somebody that actually was in Hollywood singing with a list artist like Peabo Bryson. So I'll never forget that moment in my 20s to meet this background singer of
Mhm.
Peabo Bryson. So I got that little touch there.
There
Yeah,
you go. That's a beautiful thing.
yeah, yeah. Got one with Barry White, but I'm gonna wait till we talk about him. Yeah,
Well, um, something that I'm really surprised did not get much more airplay on the news channels, but Democratic Senator Andy Kim was pepper sprayed outside of an ICE center. So to kind of give you a little bit of background for those that may have not heard of this story, um, protests continued on Tuesday outside of an immigration detention center in New Jersey, where U.S. Senator Andy Kim said he was pepper sprayed by federal agents the day before during demonstrations against immigration and customs enforcement agencies outside the facility. A video posted on social media shows Kim, a Democratic representing New Jersey, receiving help from a volunteer on Monday who was seen pouring water in his eyes outside Delaney Hall in Newark, where detainees have said they are staging a hunger strike against poor conditions and the denial of medical care. These stories are starting to be way, way too common. We've heard about stories in Bellwood. We've heard about stories in Minnesota. I don't know what can be done right now because right now they just pretty much do whatever they want, and in their mind they feel like they're unchecked. But when it's to the point where they're comfortable enough to pepper spray you and United States senator, what does that mean for the rest of us?
My brother. I'm gonna go back to the beginning. I have been aware of some of the things that they were doing with these containers. Rachel Maddow on MS Now, she does a lot of breaking stories. She broke a story early part of the year because so much is going on, and that's what the enemy does. Caused chaos, so much chaos that people say, you know what, I don't even want to hear about it. But uh, what's it? Teddy Pendergrass said it so plain. Wake up, everybody! No more sleeping in bed. It's time for us to really figure out what's going on. So Rachel broke this story, and there in several states, in most of my Republican states, unfortunately, um, there are warehouses or containers that's built to hold 8 to 10,000 people. And the thing is, what ICE is doing was to gather these people up and throw them into these cages or containers, and they'll never be seen again. We see the MO of how ICE has been treating people. So this falls right in line to when she broke the story back in February about these containers, and we need to be aware of it. So during the marches that the people were having about the No Kings, once people start finding out, not in my town, this is a new form of slavery. And so what happened in New Jersey was a fulfillment of what has been going on. That these people, over 100 people, were protesting hunger strikes. There was maggots in their food. The water wasn't even drinkable. So, and then I just happened to see Ari, no, Ali Vasher. He was one of the only reporters this past Saturday at that facility. Well, they told the people to go home because nothing but trouble happens after you have peacefully protested during the daylight, and then you can see everything. Well, at night, the instigators came in, they set fires, and as Ari Voucher was given the story, he said there was only a handful of protesters. Why are all these police out here? They marched him backwards while his camera was still rolling. About a mile away, he said, now I can't report. He said, you hear the booming? So something was going down that he couldn't report. So then by the time they pushed him to where he couldn't go any further, there was another set of police there. He said, they weren't even here. Where are they coming from? And the bottom line was they did not want him to report the story about these containers and what they were doing to the people inside. It's a shame. People had better wake up and realize that there are containers that's going to house 8 to 10,000 people at one time. Once they're in there, it's going to be hard to process them. That's why it's hard to find the people they've already gathered up. Some people are lost in the system right now. So this was a breaking story that people had better wake up while they're thinking we're in 2026. There's a new form of slavery that's trying to embed you, and it has a lot to do with the voting, all of that. So what happened this week in New Jersey, it's a sin and a shame. And if they are doing that too, they wouldn't even let the governor in. They wouldn't even let the governor come in. So and this was the most scary part of his reporting Saturday night. He said, if I don't make it back, because they were reporting another show on, it was a breaking news. So he told them, if I don't make it in tomorrow, take over my show. He didn't think he was going to make it home. That's how scary that scene is, to get rid of reporters from reporting the news. So it's a sin and a shame what happened to those people in this facility. One young lady, 18 years old, she couldn't even graduate. There were pregnant women in there. There were people who are actually citizens, legal citizens, and they are in these facilities. And they are in a whole bunch of different cities. And you all had better wake up, because you're going to one day look up. You think it's Hispanics now. It's going to be African-American people. It's going to be every other person that they don't want. And once they throw you up in there, could you imagine the chaos? Could you imagine what slavery was like when you read the books about slavery, being on a ship, when they were eating their own people? the pregnant women. Could you imagine us going back? It's not going to happen. It's not going to be a pretty sight. It's not going to be a pretty sight. And it's
Yeah.
sad what happened to those people last week in New Jersey.
Yeah. I mean, allegedly, if all this is true, I guess the biggest question is, what do we do? Because obviously, our elected officials aren't doing anything. Um, I don't know what can
Well,
be
it's
done.
privatized. This is, I want to share this real quick. When Rachel was given the information, these containers were make $26 million, right? DHS, the government, end up buying these containers not for 26 million, but for 191 million. So that was the question that Rachel was posing. Why are these containers that were in these low brackets now the government has purchased them three, four, five, six times the amount of what they were worth? And then we find out now they are one of them they shut down in, of all places, Nebraska, was owned by a billionaire in Canada. They shut those Republicans in Nebraska shut it down. The guy said the deal was no longer in place. I don't know if they found somebody else to do it, but they're finding these billionaires. They're privatizing these containers, and that's what they are. They're warehouses. They're containers, and they're owned by private people, individuals.
I think the way to probably address this is at the ballot box,
Oh
because
yes,
because for a lot of people who say, well, there's nothing we can do about
yes it
Trump,
is.
he's going to be there for another number of years. Well,
Mhm.
actually, that's not true.
Right.
If, and again, it's a big if the Democratic Party takes over both the House and the Senate, there will be checks and balances in place.
Yeah.
But they have to be able to control it by a wide margin, not by one or two seats, because we've been down that road many times.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what I always said before, your vote is very important.
It's very
Your vote
important.
is very, very powerful. And the most important thing to think about is if you if you give your voice with your vote, politicians listen. They pretend they don't, but they listen.
Mm-hmm.
As long as they think that nothing will happen to them in their seat, they're going to keep doing what they want. So it's really up to us as citizens to check them by at the ballot box, because once you start voting people out of office, there's going to be other politicians that go, oh, I'm not going to do that. Let me make sure I'm doing what I need to do. And let me make sure that I do my job to make sure that there are checks and balances in place. Because
Mm-hmm.
when everything works the way it's supposed to,
Mm-hmm.
it's not perfect. Okay, let me make that clear. It's
Sure.
not perfect, but when it's running correctly, it is a great system. It really is. To me, one of the best in the world when it's running properly.
But here's the deal, and everything you said was spot on. Here's the thing: people say my one vote don't count. My vote don't count. It ain't gonna matter. They're gonna put what they want to put in there. They've been saying that for many, many years.
Mhm.
I said I don't care who's running. When I look at the history of what we had to go through, and it wasn't long ago in the 60s that we had the right to vote, and you sit back after seeing the videos with water hoses and dogs sicked on you, how dare you not get up? But you want to collect uh, food stamps and you want to collect different things. And that's why a lot of that has changed now. And the bottom line is when you don't use it, you lose it. And this is where the powers that be, they are now trying to really take your voter your right away with the gerrymandering. So it is imperative that people get up off of their do nothing and do something, because we're at the 11th hour in the United States. Because there's no way in Haiti's that everything that's gone down in the last year and a half is way worse. You think because people are saying what they're going to do if things change, you think they're going to let that happen without it being a mayhem? So we have to brace ourselves even for that. It's kind of scary, but we've allowed them to get away with so much stuff to this point. Now I'm loving to see the people that are beginning to get the backbone and try to fight back. And there are more and more people that are doing that. I can't, because with God, all things are possible. And it's going to take us coming together with unity and with him as our leader, with God as our leader, man, giving us wisdom how we're supposed to deal with this thing. Because we are in a rabbit hole.
Yes,
We
that
are in a
is true.
rabbit hole.
That is so, so true.
Yeah.
Well, this next story is kind of borderline funny and kind of wow at the same time.
Okay.
So, a Florida Palm Beach County deputy pulls over a woman by the name of Kathleen Thomas for holding a cell phone in her right hand. Sounds like a typical stop.
Yeah.
Well, here's the problem. She doesn't have a right hand. Literally.
And there's something. Wow.
So, body cam video shows a Florida woman repeatedly telling a deputy she does not have a right hand after being cited for allegedly holding a phone in it while driving. The traffic ticket was later dismissed. So the body cam video shows the deputy, whose name has not been released, which I don't know why, insists he saw
Yes, you do.
Thomas holding a phone as he again shows her right arm, which stops at the elbow. Now, I actually saw the video for this, and to give a little bit of perspective on this, she actually had a court appearance and everything, and it was thrown out because she, and I guess the sheriff department decided, well, because of lack of evidence, they dropped the
No
charges.
stuff.
Now, I guess there's a few things here. One, it's kind of scary that this officer, and I don't say this lightly, kind of blatantly lied and held on to that lie. When the person literally has no hand, how could they hold a cell phone in their right hand? And, you know, they decided to drop it at the last second right before going to court. But I guess my question is that, and again, allegedly, what other things has he may have stretched the truth on that we're not aware of? That's just my opinion.
Man, it's so many things. This is just a reminder that people can make mistakes, but when those mistakes involve law enforcement, they can have real consequences. Here it is. This woman, now she would have been wrong had that been somebody else. It had been quick tempered. Well, she had socked him with it. Said, I don't have a hand. I don't. Let me just want to stop because I'm going somewhere else. But the bottom line is, brother, that is a story that we as African Americans can certainly understand. I'm pulled over for what? Driving while black. You can, just because you're in law enforcement doesn't give you the right to have the reason to lie on somebody to make
Mhm.
this, instead of saying, oh, it's my mistake. Now some police officers, because recently I was going a little bit faster. He asked me, you were I would think I was 10 miles over, so I was really driving fast. And he said, why were you going so fast? I said, well, no reason. And because I probably was honest, he would check to make sure I had all my stuff, my credentials. He came back. He said, "I'm just gonna give you a warning." He's gave me a warning. So there are some police officers that are honest if you're honest with them. But in this particular case, and it's nothing like having a camera, having a receipt. That was his own body cam. Am I correct?
Yes,
That
it
was his.
was.
That was. See, that's what you call giving somebody a stick to beat you with your own cam. And it's good that that's a law now that police officers have to carry body armor because of so many lies
Mhm.
or alleged lies that have been told on people.
But the scary part about this is that you literally can see she physically does not have an arm.
Yeah,
So how could you see her holding something with her right hand? And remember, if she only has one hand, that means she's using her left hand to hold the steering wheel.
right.
I mean,
Unless you
and
got a
even
Tesla.
and the interesting thing about it is she really, like you said, she could have really flew off the handle, but she didn't. She kept her composure. She actually, kind of made light of it a little bit. And the officer was like, "Well, do you raise your hand and swear that you wasn't holding with your right hand?" Yes, I do. Here's my hand. I think that was a little on the silly side personally,
See, yeah.
but it's just amazing to me this is even a story because
Right.
once you saw she physically had no hand, why would you you know go ahead and persist on trying to allegedly harass her or give her a ticket, knowing that she did not have a cell phone?
Yeah. And Lawrence, that's also a teachable moment because even though I was, making a little light about, hitting them or anything like that, but there are people when the police would stop them, they could be right, but now you've given them a reason to arrest you,
Mm-hmm.
to get violent and not to comply. So the fact that she complied, but it showed the world because that video went viral. It showed the world his attitude being in law enforcement. He took a vow to protect, serve, and protect, right? And then that video shows that he was less than that,
Yeah.
and that was less than humane to make light of her handicap.
But I think it's another teachable moment because I remember when my son first started driving, and of course, we had to talk. And I remember covering this story years ago on a
Mm-hmm.
different show. And a lot of people outside of the African American community did not know about the talk that we've been having for centuries, decades,
Yeah,
about how to act. Most importantly, I taught my son when you get pulled over, say yes, sir, yes, ma'am.
absolutely.
Even if they're an asshole, they're totally wrong,
Yeah,
still keep your composure. Don't fight on the street because you're not going to win. You're not going to win in the car. Get home safe and let us fight that battle because you're not going to know you have a bad officer or a dangerous officer until you confront them. So the last thing you want to do, just like you said, do not give them a reason because the bad ones are looking for a reason. Don't give it to
they're
them.
looking for, in all the stories we have been talking about, they are looking for a reaction so they can be justified in doing what they're plotting to do to you. So yeah, you have to be wise as the serpent, yet harmless as a dove. Sometimes mean biting that tongue till it
Mm-hmm.
bleeds. But my last takeaway to that, it wasn't just about the traffic ticket. It was about accountability, paying attention to the facts and treating people fairly. If that woman was accused of holding the phone and he saw that it wasn't, what was the common sense in that? He didn't have any evidence. So that was just my takeaway from that, as I said earlier about that. Didn't make any sense.
So I agree, especially when it was his own camera that proved him wrong.
Yeah, and she needs to be really put up on a pedestal, so to speak, to show what a model an individual should do when they're stopped, as we just said. How do you behave when you are stopped? Because they're not all bad cops, but there are some bad cops out there that just make a bad name just because they carry that title. Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yes.
This is a very, very positive story that I love here.
Okay.
An aging workforce is evolving employers' playbook. So I recently came across this article on LinkedIn, and actually there's other articles out there to back this up. But it states that as American workforce ages, employers are adapting career paths and health benefits to drive down costs and retain talent. Roughly 1 in 4 workers are aged 55 and older, a surge of 17.3% since 2016. In light of the labor market tightening, companies like Deloitte and BMW have begun to shift their recruitment and retention strategies to capture this talented pool, from implementing more age-neutral language and enhanced workplace ergonomics to more flexible work options and mentorship opportunities. Employers are starting to adjust and accommodate. I think that is great. we've all heard these horrible stories about how talented people try and move into a different position or a different company, and it just seems like no one wants to call them back. Nothing goes with it. It's like they're being pushed aside. Well, take advantage of that workforce because here's the thing, they can also teach people there and people coming in. So
Yeah.
I commend this. I love this story.
It's called a new chapter. You know, America is changing, and so is the workforce, as this article just told us. Workers are now 55 and older. They're still working. I just talked to a friend, and I think one of them is going to retire in 2 years. The other one said, "Well, I can't retire until I'm 65 to get my full," because there's a difference too when you go to the Social Security Board and they tell you about what your benefits would be and when's the best time to actually do that. But it's changing, and as we prepare for that, check this: experience matters. You just said that.
Yes.
Older workers bring decades of knowledge, membership, and problem solving skills. In
Mm-hmm.
many industries, they can't replace experience with technology or a college degree.
That's right.
That's why sometimes, back in the day, I think back in the, I guess the 90s is when you start hearing about the downsizing. They're downsizing. And so they could have two or three people working for one person's salary that's been there for a long time. So they either force you to retire, to get out of there. Yeah. So we have to understand that there's talent there. As a former educator, I remember our seniors, we were sending them out to the different areas in the local areas around the school.
Mm-hmm.
One of the young men, the teacher showed, he said, now, no, the lady told him, now, if there's no customers in, you can wipe the counter down and you can do, that ain't my job. Isn't that funny? People, that's not my job. Don't you know the more you do on that job, then you are the most valuable person there? If you can do three, four, or five different things, don't say this is not my job. I know
That's
people that I know a lady right now I just found. I thought she had retired. She's 92. She's still working. 92.
probably one of the
So
most dedicated workers there.
yeah, and she get yeah. Because the thing about it, even when people retire, they have to start a new chapter. Some of them get bored. Some of them die earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're not really doing a whole lot. I'm just gonna sit back. I'm not gonna. Okay, you're gonna sit back and die. You need to get up and start exercising, doing something. Find another little part-time job, just kind of keep your brain moving. That
Oh,
that's my thought about that.
I
And
mean, I
and
agree
one of the other
with you.
things is retirement isn't what it used to be. It's like for many Americans, retirement is no longer a choice. It's a
Yeah.
financial challenge.
Yep. Mm-hmm. That's true. That's true. And the thing is, you hit it right on the head. Just because you're retired don't mean you sit at home and do nothing.
Yeah.
You can get a part-time job. Maybe you don't want to work full time. Work at a part-time job. Maybe you want to donate. Maybe you want to work
Mhm.
in a charity or something like that.
Yeah.
You still need to do something because
Stay
we've heard
active.
stories of people who retire and literally within a year or two they're gone.
Hmm.
You don't want to be that person either. So,
No.
so you definitely still need to do something. But I do love the fact that they're recognizing that you have to take care of your business and not push out. It's almost like this post that I saw, and it's a great post.
Hmm.
It's a post of this dog leaping off the edge of a cliff trying to get a bird. And to paraphrase, it says, don't let one bad decision ruin your entire life. And that's so
Exactly.
true. It's so true. Think about it. He's leaping to get the bird, but whether you get that bird or not, yeah, your life is over because you jumped off.
It's over. Absolutely, brother. And you know what? In today's workplace, we have to we have to understand the older people, they're staying because they want because they need something to do, the smarter ones. Now the ones that are sitting back not doing anything, then you're going to find yourself getting older quicker because now you stop this thing that's getting you up. We used to fuss about getting up in the morning, going through the traffic, all these other different things, right? I'm glad. This is what my friend told me the other day. I'm not doing nothing. I tried to convince her. I said, you know what? And this before we started talking about the topics, right? Honey, oh, I hope she changes her mind because you would be bored to tears. Just you're gonna sedentary. People don't realize having a sedentary life will cause your heart the arteries, no blood circulation. Don't sit down. I worked all my life. Okay, we'll put that on your tombstone. I guess I should say it like that, but yeah. But you know what? Just in closing, also, and the aging workforce isn't a problem to solve, it's a reality to embrace. You said that. And the challenge for employers is creating workplaces where experience, wisdom, innovation can work together, right? That's basically what we need to do. And
True.
utilize that wisdom, you know?
It is so true. That is so true. And unfortunately, Wonder, we're at a time right now where a lot of people can't retire. They
I know.
physically can't afford to, which is
Especially in
not
today's with
safe.
the gas price and food. Yeah.
And a lot of people talk about, well, it's just gas. Well, what people fail to realize when gas prices go up, diesel fuel goes up.
Yeah.
When diesel fuel goes up, restaurant food goes up because guess what? Travels. It travels on a truck. Stuff in your grocery store, it all travels on trucks. So when the diesel prices jack up, they're not going to eat that cost because they can't afford to. So that cost
Mhm.
gets passed to the consumer. So whether you
Yeah.
like it or not, even if you don't have a car, it affects you.
Absolutely. And I remember going to a restaurant when this gas thing first started going up. Everybody, the gas stations, oh my God, they're really gouging. They are loving this. I went to a well-known restaurant. Food is delicious. Get to breakfast.
Mhm.
And I'm a pancake junkie. I'm a
Yeah.
connoisseur of pancakes. We go and get the pancakes. They come bringing up these nickel sized. What happened to the pancakes? I mean, it just went up. Oh no! So they must have got a lot of complaints because guess what? The pancakes are back to the right size again. Come on, the pancake. Come on now. So people they don't realize that it's more than just having a vehicle, putting gas in your car. It's being able for the industries, the grocery stores, and different places like that to be able to travel on the road to deliver this stuff. That's why what's happening with the Hormuz, the Strait of the Hormuz, whatever you want to call it. You know what I'm trying to say.
Hmm.
That's the same different. All those goods are just sitting there. Because remember when the tariffs first happened, food was going bad in all these containers,
Yes.
just
Yes.
sitting there going bad because of selfish people who don't care about the average human being. But anyway, yeah. So that's just so the workforce. I kudos to those that are out there working. I would definitely be that because I work 2 or 3 jobs anyway, so I'm always doing a whole lot. So I would definitely be the one constantly working. One thing my husband taught me many years ago. He said you have income coming in multiple sources.
It's a beautiful thing,
It is.
especially now. That is a beautiful thing.
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah, that was good.
Yes, definitely. Well, our last topic is actually a little bit of a hot topic here. Um, an Atlanta judge was caught in the courtroom having sex with a top officer. So, a federal judge had an extramarital affair with a high ranking police officer, including having sex in the judge's chambers that was overheard by staff, and initially lied about the actions, but remains on the bench after receiving a private reprimand, according to an investigation by the court system. The Judicial Court of the 11th Judicial Council, I'm sorry, 11th Judicial Circuit, which includes Alabama, Florida, and Georgia, said that a February order that the judge would receive a private reprimand. The Committee on the Judicial Conduct and Disability of the Judicial Conference of the United States last week affirmed that order. Now, they haven't officially said who this person is. There's rumors that it's um, the judge that sentenced Chris Christie um, to prison. I don't know if that's true or not because they're not releasing her name. I believe Chris Christie is probably leaning into that because it's a black female judge. Again, allegedly, because they haven't released the name.
Yeah.
And supposedly it's a top cop. I want to say a captain, I think, allegedly, because again, they haven't released names. But I guess my first reaction is wow, first.
I got so much about to come up out of here. Yeah, go ahead.
And you know, of course, you shouldn't be having an affair, period. Okay, that's
Right.
we all know
Absolutely.
that. But to allegedly have an affair in your chambers where you're a judge, if this is true, again, allegedly, because we don't know, how stupid can you be?
Very, very. Because when you were saying, and they heard them, what I mean, see, we're on camera, so I'm like, and they heard them. Oh my God, there's so many ways to go with that story. That is so sad. But you know what? The affair isn't the only issue. The investigation found that the judge engaged in a relationship with a high profile officer, right?
Mhm.
Which they both denied. Now, should a private reprimand be enough? Because according to some articles, she was they both were reprimanded
Mhm.
and not fired. So
Mhm.
I thought about I worked overtime, and I had found out some stuff that was happening on one of the jobs I used to work for. I'm like, whoa, this person, they were in this at night times on the job. So, is it fair that a judge or a high profile judge or her alleged accomplice get a slap on the wrist, whereas someone else would have gotten fired if they had been caught or been accused of having sexual relationships on a job? Should they have should a high profile person get better privileges than us? Now I ain't doing it. I'm just saying us. I'm saying as human, just as regular people.
That's such a hard question to answer because you're right. The average person, yeah, they'd be fired. It wouldn't even be a
Yeah,
question.
no question that.
But I guess as a judge, it's hard to say. I mean, some people are going to be really angry about what I'm going to say, but
Say it.
I think that I don't think they should lose their positions for what they did. I do believe that they should get more than a slap on the hand for it. Because again, we're talking about a judge and we're talking about the leader of a police department. Again, I'm not saying it's right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying
Mm-hmm.
any of that, but I don't know if they should be fired. I really don't.
Well, let me look from the other side because I know somebody's probably listening to this, and the bottom line is, and I know you probably have heard this. We as African Americans, we have to be twice as careful about doing things. So to be in a position like that, because there are some people in Congress who have lost their position, depending, some of them haven't, but some have. So yeah, it could go, like you say, either way. But in a position like that, man, you got all kinds of eyes on you,
Yeah,
waiting for you to fall.
true.
And here it is. You are giving them a stick to beat you with. You could have gone, if y'all gotta have each other.
Mm-hmm.
Was it crack? I don't know what it was. You could have gone to a hotel. You could have gone somewhere else. Why in the chambers? But see, absolute power corrupts absolutely. Some people think that they are beyond, you know, oh my God. So yeah, this is definitely something that's going to probably be talked about. And now that you mentioned if this is the same individual, the politics of it alone is
Mhm.
about to be ugly.
Well, the one thing I would love, there's people that are watching this live, and there are also people that are going to
Yeah,
see it later on.
yeah,
I would love for you to go to our social media and you tell us,
yeah.
should they have um, a much more stricter punishment, or do you think that the punishment they received is adequate? I would love to hear what people say about this. So I'm quite sure we're going to get some very strong opinions on this.
And I'm gonna give mine right now. Listen up. If first of all, they are in a leadership position.
True.
So that's almost like a preacher, pastors that fall,
Mhm.
screwing somebody in the church and all this other stuff. And so they are in leadership position. They are in they took an oath, both of them, to uphold the law and integrity.
Mhm.
So to be that much in heat to do something like that on the job and then to do it as professionals.
Yeah.
That man, check that's so wrong on so many levels. The affair alone, and this is so the story is bigger than just an affair. It's about accountability and public trust.
True.
When judges sit at a bench, they are entrusted with making decisions that affect people's lives.
Mhm.
If an average worker could lose their job for misconduct or dishonesty, many people are asking whether their position of power should be held at a higher standard. So yeah. That's the debate for you, right there.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And what's crazy about this is that for other employees, staffers to hear this, that means you're doing this in the middle of a workday at that too.
Yeah, and you loud, you don't care.
I'm like, wow. I mean, you
Yeah,
couldn't go to a hotel or none. I'm just saying,
that's what I'm saying. You couldn't even wait till the last case was called. So yes, so that's wrong on so many levels. That's huge.
yeah,
That is huge, man. So I don't know about that. So we're gonna put a pin in that one right there because I tell you, it's I don't know anyone unless it's somebody that's doing the same thing. And then unfortunately, that's what really happens. Like I said, when you did even like with some of the churches, why they aren't. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm gonna leave that alone. I'm gonna leave that one alone. But
I hear you. Do
yeah.
you think that with all the publicity that's going on right now, do you think that the judicial committee is going to take another look at their punishment, or do you think it's a done deal?
Oh, absolutely, they are. Yeah, that and I think a lot of times when people are in high profile positions like that, the public opinion does kind of sway. Because some people they made decisions, but then when there's so much public opinion about a certain situation, yeah, they're gonna go back and think about that. They will definitely think about that. They're not gonna let that go. Color has nothing to do with it. Right is right and wrong is wrong. Because if in fact they both were married,
Mhm.
goes back to that question you asked, have you ever thought about the ones you're going to leave behind? Because if they have families, what are their families thinking?
True.
So yeah,
That is true.
there's a lot in that moment of passion, that heated moment or whatever. You're not even thinking about anything else, but that's selfish to the highest power.
And the other
It,
thing too is the embarrassment that you bring on your family, because if you have kids, guess what? No matter how careful you are, even though they haven't released the names, it's probably not very hard to figure out
yeah.
who they are,
Yes. Yes.
which means if your kids are going to school, especially if they're in high school, there's a good chance that classmates are going to find out about this too. So it really hurts a lot of people in a lot of different ways. I just don't understand why you would risk doing this, because theoretically, she could lose her seat. I'm
Yep.
not saying that it will happen or anything like that, but we don't know. For the officer that did this, he could potentially lose his job. They could potentially blow up their marriages
Yep.
for a little bit of heat. And
Yep.
that's all it is just lust.
And And look, let me tell you about this, brother. In this day and age of cameras, everybody got a camera.
True.
You won't even know who got their phone on, listen to them. Got an ear witness, you know? I haven't been an
Mhm.
eyewitness, but just have an ear witness. And just imagine what probably went on after everything happened. Did she get back on the bench? What happened? You know, so you have to think about all those things. They go right back to work like nothing happened. You know, some people try to do things and you're the only one that's looking foolish, but you think you want everybody else to think, oh, I've gotten away with this. No, I know what you did last night. Yeah. So yeah. So they better hope nobody has a camera or got because people are they're recording everywhere Big Brother is listening and watching.
You know what? I hope I'm wrong with this, Wonder, but if staffers heard this, there's a good chance one or more people may have recorded it.
And not
It's a
only
very,
that, that's some juicy news. What? You can't hold that. You know
that's true.
Peyton's place. There's nothing that happened on the job that's juicy that somebody's gonna keep. So yeah, everybody talked about that. So yeah, they know who it is.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. Well, I tell you, this hour went by very fast, and this
Wow.
was a very good episode we had here.
Yes.
Well, everyone
Oh.
out there, um, definitely thank you for watching us. I'm gonna go ahead and count us out so we can end. Thank you all for watching us. I'm Lawrence Elrod.
And I'm Wanda P, baby. Peace.
Make sure you continue to watch us on Thursdays. We'll be live, and if you miss it, don't worry about it. You can always go and watch us on our YouTube channel, Elrod TV Network. Take care, everyone.
Take care,
Bye
everybody.
bye. In five, four, three, two, one. Let me go ahead and release YouTube here.